Hello. All right. We are live and direct. So today we have a lot to talk about. Northwest Sports Talk 206. Man, I'm really pumped, really excited. It's always a good day when it's a good week when the Seahawks win. So when I was watching the game, this show gets Seahawks love first. It just is what it is. Before baseball, before basketball, before whatever, we talk Seahawks.
But
one thing I loved about it, so you know when you play Little League football and you took the mouthpiece and you boiled it, that was right before the pad. So like now it's real. Now it's about to get real. So now when preseason ended and then the season started, it was real. But what made it real for me was watching the game, watching that it was the best tackling performance that I've seen in a week one game ever. And when I'm talking about coming up, solid tackles, there was no yards after contact. If I'm mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. No yards after contact. Safeties was flying around. Defense made the rookie quarterback look like a rookie quarterback. But they were physical. They were dialed in. And they looked like they just love playing together. And then when you saw Mike McDonald in the post-game interview, that's when I fell in love. We call a man crush because he looked choked up. He looked excited. He was proud of his guys, and he was literally choking up as he was talking. I don't know if you guys caught that. Then you saw Marshawn Lynch on the sideline giving him the back rubs, and I said, okay, and he's one of the guys. And the guys have dialed in to Mike McDonald's scheme. They're ready to go. The secondary is young and hungry. When I look, I was expecting that. Because his offense is shifting and moving around, new receivers. I was expecting a slow start. But hey, one of the things that the Seahawks were criticized for in previous years was not making adjustments at halftime. Coming out with the same old. Right? Thinking that they're just going to rally it up and dial in and do it. But they made adjustments. So I'm going to pass it to my right. Let you talk about what did you see from the Seahawks opening game?
I saw typical Mike McDonald.
Okay.
Defense. He's known for defense, and that's what he will always be known for. He did a phenomenal job with our lackluster defense the last few years. Mm-hmm. He's definitely brought it in, shown that he can take our team and make them a defensive powerhouse like we were in the early 2010s. Now we're not a lead in boom, but we're not. We are doing thousand times better than we have the last couple of years in defense. Like you said, though, that offensive line, a little lackluster, not quite what we're used to. But like you said, they did make changes, and that's the key. You have to be able to adapt. Football is a definite game of adaptation. You can't adapt to what's going on, you'll never succeed. And they did that and overcame. I think it was a great job.
Well, I like what you guys are saying, and honestly, I'm concerned. And
I wish I
know, and it's I haven't been a Seahawks fan since 12. I go back to the 80s with this team, and I've seen over the years where we've had dominant defensive performances. Yeah. Like we can roll it back to, what was it, last year when we played the Giants and they said they held Saquon Barkley in check on the rushing. Yeah. When we look back, we only did that because they stopped running. To some certain extent, they were giving up 4 yards a carry during this game. Now, we know 3 of those get you a first down. Right, so if you take out SMA's 2 carries that came out to about 14 yards, that's a 7-yard clip for him, right? Mm-hmm. You take out the 3 runs by Bo Nix, then everything's great. statistically, they gave up almost 100 yards rushing. And so I'm concerned is that maybe we've seen an aberration as far as the run defense. I'm always going to be concerned about that until we see a actual real running back come in here and run the ball. A team that's known for running the ball. Like, well, we're going to get it this weekend. We're going to see Ramondre Stevens come in here, and we're going to see what it's going to look like.
Right.
We're going to have Miami in a week, right, after that. Yeah. So we're going to see if this run defense is fixed. Now, everything else that you said about the tackling, the way that they hit, the way, man, I looked out there some plays, and I'm thinking there's at least 15 people on the defensive side of the ball. Because every time one came to make a hit, there was another one right behind them, and another one. They came in waves. So when I looked at it, I thought, man, this is great. Until I seen the offense get on the field, and Geno proceeds to throw an interception because they cannot get enough push on the offensive line or hold up the blocks on the offensive line. My question is, to some certain extent, is why are we already just throwing the ball right off the rip instead of trying to establish a run? When you have and it's not like the O-line is a young O-line to the point where they have no experience, but helping your O-line is doing things like running the ball. You help the quarterback, you help the O-line, you establish the line of scrimmage at that point. So being able to get that push from the O-line, getting them in the mode and thinking of we're going to battle. When we watch that defense hit the field to start the game, oh boy, that same energy should have translated over to that offensive line. How does that happen? You run the ball. You start saying, hey, we're going to apply pressure on the line from both sides, the D line and the offensive line. When you do that, you're in a good situation. So I'm just concerned that maybe this defensive rushing game isn't what we think it is yet. And maybe we're playing with smoke and mirrors. I just have to see it consistently.
Like you said, we'll find out this week.
So one thing I want to elaborate on it, I love your take. So one thing we have to understand why the offense did struggle. New system, right? So we have to give the same grace to the defense. It's still a new system. So we understand run fits and things of that nature. And I think even the pressure, I think it's more of a mental thing than a physical thing. So when I watch the game, because I watched it over and over and over again, and I saw some misassignments that are going to be cleaned up. You know, and I started to give, and I wanted to kind of give a take about why, because I'm with you running the ball, establishing that, but sometimes I'm not in the film room, and as an offensive coordinator, I understand that they're looking at tape, they're looking at film, based off what they've done, because also it's week one, seeing what they can expose and attacking that, and Geno Smith looked a little bit, even with the pressure, he just looked a little bit unsettled in the new offense. Wasn't sure of himself, but it picked up in the second half. So I'm with you on that. I'm just excited based off what I saw. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing they talked about in the preseason, you know, you get excited about your team when the starters go out and they blow out the third string or the backups, because your starters are supposed to make them look like backups. If they struggle against the backups, you have a serious problem. So I would say that, like I said, I think it's more of a mental thing than a physical thing. I'm looking at the dogs up front, and I said, oh, man. And that's what makes me excited. I'm looking at Boye Mafe. What a steal. What a steal. When we picked him, I looked at him, I was like, I don't know. He's not special, but he's well-balanced. You know what I'm saying? I look at the Leo, the big cat from the Jets. Yes. Oh, man. He's a man up there. And I'm looking at Dotson. And even though he doesn't even look like a physical linebacker, he looks like a little guy playing linebacker. But he was everywhere. Everywhere. And let's not even get on Julian Love. He was attacking like he was Earl Thomas back there. And you didn't see that last year. And it was all based off of scheme. It's like you see night and day from a different scheme to another. Julian Love looks like the best safety in football.
But when we look at it, we sit there and we say the corners, we knew that the corners were going to be good, right? Even though Woolen took a step back last year, we already knew that with Witherspoon, the way he came out on fire, and he didn't play a bad game last year, right? All he could do was get better as a rookie, right? We knew Woolen was what he was, and he could get better, right? We seen it. We saw the flashes. But when we looked at the safeties the past couple years, Quandre was about the only one that was actually bringing the fire. And understand, Jamal was in and out. You know what I'm saying? He's missing tackles. He's coming up with concussions, going out every time he makes a play. He's out the game. So when we look at it, you knew that secondary was going to be special. I think they're going to be special. You said it looked like you seen Earl out there. Yeah. Julian looked like what a combination between Earl and Cam would look like, because he was laying hats too.
Yeah, he was.
He was everywhere. And then Jenkins.
And he looks like an accountant.
Man, come on.
He probably is.
I trust that dude with all my money. Because, I mean, realistically, they look more physical and more ready to come out. And they were attacking.
They've got that dog-eat-dog mentality right now. And that's what our defense has needed for years.
Yeah. But and let's not forget Baker. Baker was just steady. He was steady. He was coming to the ball. He was there to lay a hat. If somebody missed, he was there to fill the gaps. Like they were linebackers. And the thing about him is, both of them missed large stretches of the preseason and training camp. I don't even know that Baker even. Yeah. He never. I saw 17. I was like, who's 17? Yeah. My wife looked at me. She said, who's Zero? I was like, yeah. I said, Zero is everywhere, huh? I said, that's Agent Zero. Yeah. I said, because he is coming. He cleans up so much stuff. I love Dotson. And here goes the thing. Just like we're talking about. That's a little bigger, thicker. On a back that wants physicality. He ain't looking at it outside. With all that, this is going to be a test, as every game is going to be. And that okay, August out here, and we couldn't stop the. I'm going to see. You can't stop everybody running, but I need to scratch your body coming through the hand hat on them.
Yeah, they should not be just going through and taking off for 50-yard runs.
Well, what's funny what you said about that game was as Tampa, right? Now I remember. You remember when Mike Holmgren and John Kitna was the quarterback, and the Seahawks were flying high. And then mid-season, they ran up against Warren Sapp and the Buccaneers. And the Buccaneers gave the rest of the NFL the blueprint of how to whoop the Seahawks. Just play physical football. And that was the game that we realized that John Kitna did not have that strong of an arm. And they were exposed. And that's what kind of brought back to my memory. But this is the thing, though. This is interesting what you brought. The Seahawks' strength is their defensive backfield. Nobody wants to drop back and throw against Tyreek Woolen and the rest of the DBs. I think that's the strength. So I think when we look at next week, it might be not necessarily a weakness. I'm going to tread lightly on this one. They're going to attack the run game. They're going to look at maybe the undersized linebackers. and try to attack it somehow because they don't want to be throwing the ball down the field. So that's an interesting scenario because if I'm coaching my team and I'm going against Seattle in Seattle, I want to run the ball down their throat. I might want to try to run off tackle. That's the only thing I think of. I don't know. So we'll see. Yeah.
We know we got Rams come to town. Yeah. Everybody's got a plan.
So what's interesting is next week we've got not next week, tomorrow, 10 a.m. we've got New England, and we're going to be at New England, 10 a.m. kickoff time, and I am truly excited about that game. Now it's interesting because I picked every game, rewind the tape, except for that one. I did not expect the Bengals to lose to New England. And they have a little bit different. They got Mayo as their coach, which is a different culture, and they look like they're bought in. They look like they're physical. And I can't even really name 2-3 New England players. Can you? I can't really,
I can't.
But they got in, they ball control, hit them in the mouth, physical. That's what they did. And like we brought the boxing analogy. What are you going to do if somebody has more skills than you? You're going to crowd them. You're going to try to get them in a corner. You're going to do little tactics. You're going to, smother them, so to speak. Because, you don't want to fight a Floyd Mayweather out in the field. You know what I'm saying? You want to fight him in a phone booth. Yeah, you want to take his advantage away.
That's like one of my favorite boxers is Bernard Hopkins, right? B-Hop didn't have all the skills, but what he was a veteran boxer, right? So what he knew how to do was, I know how to headbutt. I know how to throw a forearm and an elbow on the way out to break. You know what I'm saying? It's the difference. It's the difference between having a veteran team and having a young team that, again, what we talked about last week? We talked about culture. Culture. Until you establish that, and I call you out, Bogan. You picked Washington last week. You picked the Commanders last week. And I told y'all, I said Tampa Bay because they had culture. At least they had something established. But I could swear y'all picked the Commanders. I swear y'all picked the Commanders. But and that's why, we did. We said it was a coin flip. Yeah, but that's the thing though. When we look at it, physical. When this Seahawks team plays the way that we're going into. So one of those things helps us. The strength of our team is our defense. One thing you cannot do here at Lumen Field when we're on defense is think. Because it is so loud. They're going to be able to communicate in New England, unlike they were able to communicate here. And so if they're going to be that physical and they're going to fly to the ball, I expect a better performance technically, maybe not emotionally, but technically, they should be a bit more sound in their defense because they have the ability to communicate. Communication is everything.
Hey, so we're going to go over some of the scores. Just to remind all you guys that are watching the stream, we are here at the Waterland Arcade every Saturday at 12:30. So come on in here. We got the barbecue. We're selling outside as well. So come on out here to the Waterland Arcade in downtown Des Moines. I have Scott to my right, Andre Prim to my left, and we are talking sports. I'm going to go over some of the scores from last week, and feel free to chime in and give me what you saw in some of these games. See, we have the Bears beat the Texans. We have the Giants beat the. Hold on, this is not accurate. Sure was. Hold on, wrong game. I'm looking at that like, wait, that's not right. Oh, here we go. Got it up. All right. So, of course, we know about the Seahawks beating the Broncos. We have the Bills beat the Cardinals. We also have the Patriots beating the Bengals 16-10. We've got the Vikings beating the Giants 28-6. We've got the Bears 24-17 over the Titans. Caleb Williams' debut. We got the Panthers, who looked horrible against the Saints. That was a whooping like I've never seen before.
They just look horrible.
Oh man, we got the
They
Steelers.
look like junior high football players.
We got the Steelers inching it out against the Falcons. We got the Dolphins beating the Jaguars, but we also had the Thursday night game. Buffalo took care of them really good. We got the Texans.
Care of Tua.
Yeah, they did take care of Tua. The Texans beating the Colts. We've got the Chargers in a brawl beating the Raiders. The Cowboys look good against the JV Browns. We got the Buccaneers took care of the Commanders. And the Lions inched out the Rams. But before we get into that looked really bad on that concussion. And we didn't really intro talking about that, but that looked bad. And now this young man who is 26 years old. Yeah, third one in the NFL. Yeah.
This is his third concussion in prime time.
Yeah.
At that.
And it's not just the concussion, it's the whole, I forgot what they called it, but that whole thing where his finger cringed up. You know what I'm saying? Like your whole body freezes.
Oh, yeah. His whole body just shook.
But this is the thing, though. He just signed with a 4-year, $200-something million, 137 of it guaranteed. It's going to be up to him whether he keeps on playing or not. And we're talking about generational wealth. This is talking about challenging yourself to go out there and compete and want to live a legacy. This is a conflict, and I'm looking at it as if Tua's my son, what kind of conversation are we having? You know, for me, I'm like, son, this is a lot. This is a lot. And I'm quite sure his guaranteed is somehow guaranteed, right? But he probably wants that extra bag, you know, the whole, you know, as much as possible. But, man, what did you guys feel when you saw it, and what do you feel about it right now?
I am going to agree with Saban on this one. Saban said flat out he needs to listen to his medical professionals because at this point, this is his third major concussion during prime time in his so far great career. He needs to seriously look at what the medical doctors say this has done to his body because it's just like when Cam hurt his neck. You know, Cam wanted to continue to play, but the doctors told him one more hit like that, you could be done. And if the doctors are telling Tua the same thing, that's what's going to happen is Tua's going to have to go with what the doctor's saying and just give it up. But if they say, hey, you got a 50-50 shot, at that point he's got to look. Is family more important or is football? Personally, if I'm in that situation, I've had 3 massive concussions. I'm taking the family route, bro. I'm out.
But you know, and that's the thing, though, Scott. You look at it and you say, okay, well, you got 137 guaranteed. That money's guaranteed after he went down. That money is in his pocket because that guarantee about injury. That money is his. So he'd be walking away with the 137 in his pocket. So what we have to figure out too is we're not going to just quit football, right? So the thing is he's going to be active. I don't know about y'all, but Tua has a decent looking face and he sounds good when he talks. He could be sitting next to Brady.
You thinking announcer?
I'm thinking he's going to be in the booth somewhere.
I'm with that.
I mean, it's you have to make good decisions, right? Generational wealth is what you said, right, Bogan? So 137 is generational wealth. We can do something with that, right?
But you can do a lot of something with that.
We do a lot of something. And so what we can figure out at that point is, what do I do next? Nothing's going to compare to the bag, right? But if you love the game the way the game is played, you're always going to, right? And that's what happens to a lot of players that, again, back to boxing. Go to those players that had those boxers that had to keep boxing, Sugar Ray Robinsons, and understand the whole concept for actually boxing is to give somebody a concussion. That's the goal, right? So in this sport, it's not the goal. It's to give somebody a concussion. But 3 of them, the severe 3, it's not like he got his bell rung and he just got right back up. You know, a lot of times back when we was kids, we get our bell rung, we take it off, and
you get that warm tinge in your neck.
Nah. But when the meds come and have to come get you off the field, it's a different situation. I didn't think Hamlin was going to come back after him. He died on the field.
Yep.
You know, so how do we fix that? How do we get the mindset of I have to be here? Tua don't have to play. So It's going to come down to his desire and him being cleared by somebody to I don't want to say it like that, but there is some scumbag owner that's going to put him back out there on the field after he's in good conscience. I could not put that man back on the field. That young man has a whole life to live at 26.
There you go. Yeah. And as a coach, in my opinion, if I were the coach, I'm not taking one doctor's advice saying he's cleared to go. No, I'm getting 2, 3, 4 different doctors, not affiliated with each other in any way, shape, or form. If they can all say he's cleared, I'll consider putting him back on the field.
But that comes down to, and that is the motivation of keeping my 137. You know what I'm saying? The motivation comes to, I'm going to keep this 137 million. But somebody with a good heart and understands, hey, look, it's those types of injuries that are damaging our game, right? Yeah. That is what's damaging the bag. Because a lot of parents, a lot of moms, they like football. Yeah. They like to watch other. And I've heard a lot. Hey, flag. I won't let my from my came up with this term called crash ball. We flag, but we don't. My son plays. My nephew plays. They didn't want to actually tackle football because of start seeing things about CT, and we start seeing things about players who are not mentally right anymore. So what happens in that situation is you're getting moms who are spending the money on the swag, the jerseys, the shirts, and all that good stuff because mom's got to have a hat to go. You know what I'm saying? You don't sell very many visors to guys; they sell them to women, right? So.
Don't forget the Lululemons, too.
Hey, come on, man. Come on, them yoga pants. Oh, they got those. But you have to understand that it's a damage to the when these type of injuries happen. I mean, I got mad, I think, when they started talking about how low you can hit. And a matter of fact, the drop hip tackle this year talking about? Yeah. So we've gotten to the point where, like, hey, the league and the sport itself has gotten soft. So, I mean, really, got to figure out how we continue to play this game and be safe. And the situation where we watch Tua go down like that, a third concussion? That's
third severe concussion. And the way his body flopped at that hit, I hurt my neck just watching it.
Yeah. So when we watch that game, the Thursday night game, and we look at Buffalo, we talk about Miami week 1 performance flying around, and they went to Buffalo, and even with Tua playing well or okay, Buffalo physically dominated them. So right now we're going to kind of go over some of the matchups that we have this week, and kind of want to get your take on some of these games. We've got Seahawks and Patriots this week. Like I said, at Foxborough. Who you guys taking? I'm taking Seattle. Taking Seattle. I think Cincinnati might have underestimated them. I'm taking Seattle. I think we're gonna load the box. We're gonna load the box. Play man to man.
I am a hometown guy.
Okay.
I am optimistic that the Seahawks are going to win this game.
Okay.
And if we do, it's going to be like a field goal. It is not going to be a game that we want to see where, we just dominate and we're up 10, 12, 14 points at the end of the game. I don't see it. Okay. I do think we'll inch it out, but it's going to be a tough-fought game the entire game.
Okay. You got?
I know you always got something to say about me.
I'm a Scott. I'm a homebody. Can't help it. I'm a Seattle kid, and I love Seattle to death. I'm always going to ride with the home team. So with that said, I don't think it's going to be close. We got what, Drake May out there playing his second game against his Mike McDonald defense, and we said to secondary, hey man, you let Witherspoon get his hand on one, he might go to the house, and you let Woolen get his hand on one, he's definitely going to the house. If Geno can stay upright and does not have to run for his life, it could be very nasty. That secondary of New England, I don't really think that they can match up 5 deep that we have. Maybe even 6 deep.
I can go with that. My reasoning for only winning by a field goal, though, is our lackluster offensive line.
That's the problem. That is, and so if we had to break down the keys to victory,
our offensive line is the key.
That is it.
If they can hold their own,
yeah,
we will be great. We will have a dominant presence on the field. I just don't see it yet.
I don't either. And Bogan, I'm kind of curious about your take. You said that you think they got it, and I want to know why you think that.
To be honest with you, just the eye test. I just think that our quarterback situation is a lot better than like I said. I'm not putting too much stock into week 1 because you're going to have upsets in week 1. It's just like we talked about. We're going to see when we pull up against somebody who can really run the ball. Was that week 1 a real testament to how good New England actually is, or just how bad that Cincinnati played? So that's why I'm taking Seattle. I just look at offense, defense, special teams. I just think that if we can have some momentum from our second half start last week, like I said, I don't think they'll be able to keep up. I just look at we just have a little bit more firepower. I think we'll both play solid defense, but I just think we have more firepower. So that's why I'm taking Seattle. Plus, I'm a Seahawks fan. 9.9 out of 10 times, I'm picking the Seahawks. All right, next game up, we've got Chargers and Panthers. Panthers look poor. They look bad. And I'm thinking about last year's number 1, and it's not all on Bryce Young. Bryce Young actually looks pretty good, but he just doesn't have a very good supporting cast. Hardball, he's going to play hard-nosed. Their team's going to play with heart. So this one, I'm picking the Chargers.
Right there with you on that one. And I don't think it's going to be close.
Yeah, blowout. I'm gonna skim through some of these games, and you guys can go ahead and chime in on one that you think is interesting. We got the Colts and Packers. We got the Jets at the Titans, Raiders and Ravens, Bengals and Chiefs. Oh, we're gonna see for real what the Cincinnati's about. Bears and Texans. We've got the Steelers and Broncos, Rams and Cardinals. That's a good division game. Buccaneers and Lions, Browns and Jags. Saints and Cowboys. Saints look good last week. We're going to see what Cowboys was really about because they played a JV game. Giants and Commanders. Vikings and 49ers. Let me see what else we got here. Falcons and Eagles. Any of these games stick out to you guys that you want to see that you're going to be like, I'm
going to have to watch the Saints game.
Okay.
Because I want to see Russell get hurt.
You want to see who?
Oh, sorry, the Steelers game.
Oh.
I want to see Russell get hurt. And I don't mean physically get hurt. I just want to see him get pummeled.
Oh my God.
I love watching that man get hit.
But he's not starting this week. I think
No.
Yeah, he's not playing. Yeah. He still got that calf injury.
But that still makes me want to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. The Falcons are playing the Eagles.
Because we already know. We know what Jalen going to do. Jalen going to do his thing, right? But I want to know, and Saquon, them Eagles. I mean, it's the running backs going head to head, and Cousins. I don't know how long. I guess you're gonna have to ride with Cousins through the year, unless Cousins gets hurt, because you paid him so much. But I kind of want to see that boy that went to the dub. I want to see Penix play. I seen him play during the preseason. I want to see him on the field regular season. And you put too much money in Cousins that you're not going to see. So that brings up a whole nother topic later. But it's a question of how long that has talent. How much does Cousins still have left? So I'm kind of looking at the Falcons in a different aspect. I'm just wondering how long Penix, because Cousins ain't bad. Cousins does his thing, and give him opportunity. So as any veteran quarterback will, right? That's one I is curious because I just want to see. Anyway, down last. Saquon looked really good last week. Saquon. Games look. I don't want to see Barry Sanders and watch when Dallas went. I just kind of want to see how that's going to look. Just talent on it.
All right. How about you, Scott? Any games look in particularly well?
No. We've made it abundantly clear. I am not a huge football guy.
I'm just really interested in seeing what the other NFC West opponents are doing. I'm interested in seeing Caleb Williams. They're playing against the Texans. This year's first overall pick. Comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, which I kind of don't see, but like I said, just because he throws a lot of unorthodox passes, that's one of the reasons why he can play. I'm not going to sit there and say he can't play, but I just was kind of curious to see what everybody, because to me, Caleb Williams, and we didn't really talk a lot about the draft picks. To me, he's like another Kyler Murray. Sorry, yeah. I just think they're very similar style quarterbacks. Reckless, sometimes reckless with the ball. just make plays, just going to be a playmaker. At times going to carry the team, but sometimes that gets you in trouble. So I'm very interested in see because Chicago's been looking for a quarterback, man, ever since Jim McMahon. I can't even name a pro. I don't think they've even had a Pro Bowler since him. They who? Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, forgot about that. So I showed you. So I can't wait to see that. I want to see the Bengals and Chiefs. I really want to see. Like I said, was the Bengals that bad? And the Chiefs, when I watched them play, they look outstanding. And like I said, I can't even really name their new receivers that they got in, but man, they look. But they got a $500 zillion quarterback who makes anybody look good. But and one thing we didn't discuss today. Today is the Apple Cup. 116th Apple Cup. Washington and Washington State. Matter of fact, what are the college games we got going on today, the live games? We got to get those scores out there, too.
Oh, a lot of them.
A lot of them?
A lot.
You want to name them?
Well, right now, the LSU South Carolina game just recently ended. And,
okay.
LSU legged it out.
Wow.
They were losing, and it was not looking pretty. They had 8 minutes left. They were down, but they ended up winning 36-33.
Okay.
We got Michigan beat Arkansas State. Nothing big there. Todd beat Utah State. Of course, nothing big. We got a ranked game, Boston College versus Missouri. Missouri won by a touchdown.
Okay.
Let's see what we got. Notre Dame is beating Purdue right now, 14-0. Oklahoma's over Tulane. Oregon's tied with Oregon State at the end of the first.
Okay. Look, I got Oregon State. Okay. And the Civil War. Okay.
That's the shitty thing about NCAA football is you got 843 divisions, and ESPN only shows you the top 15, 20 at the time unless you select specific divisions. So I got to sit here and go through everything and find games we really want to watch.
Having a college football playoff system is kind of bittersweet for me when they first started it because I was one of the ones that was so advocate of 1991. Why couldn't you let these guys play? Why couldn't you let Washington play Miami, which would have been the game of all time? You're talking about a college it would have been the biggest hype game, the biggest explosive plays. It would have been CTE across the board. Half the team it would have been like one of those. It would have been like what's that boxing match where they just went toe to toe? Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, or it would have been one of them slugfests. That would have been a game.
And update on the Apple Cup: we are tied at 10.
Okay.
Starting the second.
Okay. I like the game. I like these in-state rivalry games in the beginning of the season. I like that. I like that.
I like that they're at the beginning, but I would rather see the in-state more towards the middle of the season.
Middle of the season?
Yeah, when it's coming down to if we don't win this game, we've got no shot at going any farther. Or, we need to win this game to prove we still have a shot.
Right.
It's too early in the season for this game to even matter.
Right.
Although it matters to every Washingtonian.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you guys are ready for the new Pacific State 10 conference that they've set up. Pac-10 just added 4 teams back into the conference, and they're all state teams. If you notice, Fresno State, San Diego State, Boise State, and I can't think of who the fourth one was. And there's already Oregon State, Washington State. So I guess I just keep calling the Pacific State 10 league at this point because that league And unfortunately, only reason why we're seeing these games like this, the Oregon State and the Oregon game this early, Washington State this early, is because of that division and the move to the Big Ten. So it is one of those things that we're going to have to, deal with as we go forward. And the only time we're going to be able to play is going to be these exhibition games. So at least the one good thing that comes about having a in-state rival game early is we don't have to see them beat up on the Sisters of the Poor the first 2 games of every season. Those are like preseason games. I mean, if you look at the games last week, oh my God, I can't remember who it was. Somebody put up 70 last week in a game, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. Why do you even play these guys anymore? But it goes towards their win totals at the end of the year, and you're sitting there trying to figure out who's getting to 13.
You talking about the West Illinois Indiana game? Where it was 77-3?
Man, come on, man. I thought we was watching basketball. It reminded me of a old Renton Tyee game from way back when.
What about the West Michigan Ohio State? It was 56-0.
Come on, man.
Why are you a ranked team playing a nobody?
Because that's what they do. And again, the fact that they broke the division up like this, and they're having to play those in-state rivals, at least the game means something, right? Because that's the only reason why we're seeing the 10-10 Apple Cup right now. And it don't even feel like the Apple Cup because
it ain't snowy out here.
Where's the snow and the rain?
Right?
Like, what are we doing? So,
yeah, I'm used to the Apple Cup being late November, where we have a chance of having snow on Western Washington. They always got snow over there, and it always came down to if there's snow on the ground, the Huskies were losing. If there wasn't, the Huskies were winning.
But that's the one that I always loved was watching Chris Polk grind it out for 170 yards against the Cougars. I mean, they was killing them back then. So, I don't know why the Cougars line up and want to play these games with us, but I'm glad that they still do, and we need to continue that.
It's because they're trying to prove they're relevant.
They're not.
Like I said, trying to prove.
Hey, look, I'm a Husky fan to the end of it. They're not. It just look. When Big Brother keeps pounding your head in every single, at some point you say, you know what? I don't want to take this beating no more. They take a beating every single year, and good, it's 10-10, but that 10 is going. If Jed Fish don't beat Waste by 30, I'm going to be highly upset. Highly upset.
Well, and the rivalry is so big between Wazoo and UW.
Yeah.
That last night during the Mariners game, every inning they'd bring up some other stat where it was Washington State or Wazoo or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
And it was talking about professional athletes that have played in Major League Baseball. There are more Cougars that have played professional baseball than UW Huskies.
Oh.
And the ones that have played professional ball played almost twice as long and twice as many games as the ones that the Huskies provided.
Oh.
Because they're a baseball team. That is true. They have a glorious stadium over there.
Oh, boy.
That is true.
Oh,
and it's funny that you say that because we're not the only college that does that. Notice, throughout all of the colleges, there's a handful that promote both football and baseball, or football and basketball, or basketball and baseball. A lot of them focus on one male sport, one female sport. And that's the trouble with having to pick a college nowadays coming up as a kid. If you're going into college, do you pick the school that is best for the education that you want to get, or is best for the sport that you want to play?
Right.
Always.
Oh my God.
Wow, that's the way we've been here in the PNW.
Well, that's very interesting. You brought up baseball because we're going to take a break. Going to get kind of refreshed, re-energized. We're going to come back and we're going to let Scott kind of get into some baseball, break down some baseball. Let him take the throne because he is the expert up here, and he will.
I ain't the expert.
Oh, he's the expert. Uh-oh, what's that?
Can we still get in?
Yes. Yes,
So
we're gonna
take a break here, about 15 minutes here at the Northwest Sports Talk 206. We are at the Waterland Arcade right here in downtown Des Moines. Pull up on us, be part of our live audience, and we'll be back with some baseball news.
Don't forget, $15, all you can play.
Oh yeah, $15, all you can play.
I'm going to do is I'm going to get out here and get some of his shrimp and grits.
Shrimp and grits. He's going to get some shrimp and grits. All right.
All right, and we're back. We're back. Here we are. We're going to talk about some baseball here we got going on. So we've got the big question is Seattle. You asked, are we going to make it? Or even, can we make it? Yes, we can. We have the team. We have the skills. We have the pitching staff. We have all the aspects that you need to make the playoffs. Games left, I think we're like 16 left. We're 4 back. No losing streak at all. If we have a losing streak, we're done. We're 4 back from Houston for taking the West. We are 6 out of the wild card. So to guarantee that we make the playoffs, we need 2 things. We need Detroit to start losing some games. That'll help us get to the wild card. And we need to just stay within a couple of games of Houston. Because when we get to Houston, as long as we are within 2-3 games, we can take them over in that series. But we have to continue to win when they lose right now. And that's been our thing is when they lose, over the last couple of weeks, we've had a tendency to lose as well. Yes. Yep. If we are within a couple of games, 2 to 3 is where we need to be when we face Houston. Because when we face Houston, it's a 3-game stretch. If we sweep them and we're 2 to 3 in, we're either tied or up 1 game. If it comes down to a tie, we own them. So we get the West. No, it would not be a 1-game playoff because we've beaten them throughout the season to our record. We own the tiebreaker between them. If we have a tie, it is our division. So all we have to do is stay within striking distance of them. I do. I think Wilson has brought different perspective to the team. The last couple of weeks that Cervantes was around, it seemed like the team kind of lost focus. They didn't really see the end game. They were just seeing, let's play today. Let's play today. They weren't looking at how today equals tomorrow, and tomorrow equals next week. They were just seeing, we just need to play today. And they were all aggressively coming up to the plate and swinging for the fence and swinging at pitches that they shouldn't have been swinging at because they were getting themselves into 0-2 counts, 1-2 counts. And when you get into a 2-strike count, it doesn't matter who you are. You could be Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani. When you got that 2-strike count, it is 1,000 times harder to do what you want at the plate. But now that Dan has stepped in and brought on Edgar as the hitting coach temporarily, Edgar has simplified everything for these guys. And you can see it with every single player's at bats. They are literally looking at each plate appearance and going with the most basic, simple, get back to basics approach. They're looking at batting average, hits, RBI. That's all they're looking at. So pre-game, they're sitting there in the dugout and they're talking, okay, well, this pitcher has the tendency to do these things to you. So when you see that first pitch strike and you saw a slider, if that's something that is in your repertoire, you're now knowing, okay, I've seen the slider, I've seen the fastball, in the changeup, I know what I'm looking for. And you, by watching what that pitcher has done to you in the past and simplifying your approach, you're able to stay away from the 1-2, 0-2 counts, and you're getting ahead in the count more often. I've seen a lot more walks from guys that don't typically walk. I've seen Julio his approach to the plate now hasn't been so much of a I'm swinging for the fence every pitch. I don't want to kill every pitch. He's sitting there. I just need to hit the ball. Right. We do, in a sense, that we are definitely overpopulated for a staff in the outfield. But the thing that Robles brings to the outfield for us is his speed. Julio can cover 70% of the outfield. Arozarena, he's good, and I love him in the outfield. He doesn't have the coverage, which is good. We've got Julio next to him, so that gap is covered. I love it. Robles has that same problem. The only problem I see with Robles is he can get there, but like on Thursday night, the home run that was hit right over his head, and he ended up losing his glove over the wall. 2 inches, he would have had that ball without a problem. 2 inches, that's all it needed. If he works on his jumping ability, because outfielders we don't jump, we don't. But those that do, or maybe he pulls a Ken Griffey Jr., climbs the wall, something like that. If he adds a skill like that to him, he becomes a top tier outfielder. On occasion, he's platooning. No, I think what Dan's going with right now is like you said, Robles sparks the offense, and that's what our team needs right now. Defense, we are a solid team defensively. We are. It doesn't matter what position you look at. We are defensively solid. I wouldn't say we're the top, but we're up there. We're top third, easy. No. Our pitching is top. We all know that the pitching staff is top, but our fielding as a team is great. We've made some errant throws, but our fielding is great. We have a great fielding, and Robles does add to that. He's great out in the outfield. Haniger is great in the outfield. I love the man. Always have. I was happy to see we brought him back. But his approach at the plate versus Robles' approach at the plate, I'm taking Robles every day. Because Robles, like you said, he gets on base, and he not only gets on base, he creates havoc on the bases. He steals second. He has no problem stealing third. He's done it, 9 times this year? And he's 23 for 23 as a Mariner? Right. That's what I'm saying. This man loves to steal, and he is a threat. And unlike a lot of guys who steal bases, he doesn't just steal willy-nilly. He plans his steals. He'll steal on a 3-0 count because he knows that catcher's now got to frame that pitch, giving him the extra half a second. Right. And I love it. And that's what's needed for our team. We need that spark. JP's got a little bit of that spark because he can get on base as well. He just doesn't have the speed to roll like that. That's 70% of Seattle sports watchers. Oh, it's football season. Let's focus on that. That is true, and that's true not just in Seattle though. I mean, outside of New York and LA, it's pretty much football all year round for just about every state. We do.
want to see the Seahawks, right? But at the same time, at the same token, I want to know that we're still in the actual hunt because it matters. We talked about it last week. The actual stadium being full is contingent upon whether or not they have an opportunity to actually be able to win and get into playoffs. We are going playoff or bust in Seattle. That's what we have to have. And go ahead, say it, because I expect you to say it. Say it. I'm waiting for you to say it.
You're right. We are a playoff or bust team.
I mean, that's the fans, though.
You're right. And it's been that way for years. Ever since we got that spark in 2001,
right,
we've been a playoff or bust team. We got that taste of what it's like to make the playoffs. And
just the last playoff run, they went 18 innings in a playoff game. That's unheard of. That is incredible. And I think from that point on, and you see it. The stadium isn't as full because people are saying, okay, well, what is happening here? Are you guys really invested?
You're right. Yeah.
Are you really invested in actually winning in October? Are you planning on playing in October?
Right. And I think that Julio and JP have definitely said it the best when it comes to from the player aspect. They thrive when that stadium is full. When they come out to a game and they see 18, 19,000 fans when in capacity 48,000, they're not feeling the same energy. So as a player, when you see you're not being supported as well, what does that do to your game? It kind of takes you down. So as a city, if we truly want to be a playoff contention, we need to support our team, win or lose. I do. I have since the 80s. And I will always support the Mariners. It doesn't matter win or lose. I'm die hard.
So watch this, though, Scott. Right? We can go back to 1980.
Okay.
Then we say 95.
Yeah, 95.
But that's 15 years. 2001.
Yep.
That's 6 more years.
Yep. Yeah, I see what you're saying. 3 times.
Excuse me, say that again?
3.
3 times. Okay. So,
not once did we really perform great. But, like I said, these players, they're thriving off us during the season. So, if we're, like in the situation we are now, if we start filling the stands and the players see us cheering them, rooting them on, and we're overshadowing the out-of-town team fans, they're going to start thriving on that. Watch what happens. If we start filling the stands, you're going to start seeing more hits, more competitive play. You're going to see more defensive plays. You're going to see more of the team that we know our team is capable of, and less of the, what are we doing? You know, right now, a lot of these fans are sitting at home watching it on TV because, yes, ticket prices, they've gone up over the last few years. It's gotten outrageous. But the cool thing about it is the Mariners do a lot of these $10 game nights. Buy a ticket for $10. I'm sorry, but T-Mobile Park is one of the few parks that you can buy a $10 ticket and stand anywhere and watch the game. You don't have to sit in a seat. A lot of the time, yeah. You can walk around the concourse. At any point on the concourse, you can be watching the game. You can stand above the dugout and sit there and talk with the pitchers as they're sitting there warming up pregame. You can stand out in the bullpen. You can literally stand out and just watch from center field. There's no bad view.
No, there's not.
There's bad angles of a view, like sitting up in the 300 level all the way at the top by the roof. That's a bad angle to watch baseball. I don't care what stadium you're in. That is a horrible angle. Right, but it's a great view. And for $10, if you want to just stand on the concourse and watch right there, I'll do it. I go to 25, 30 games a year. Every year. I sit in my seat most of the time, but that's because I got a seat 3 rows off the right field wall. Who wouldn't sit there? But if I buy a ticket to a game, I'll buy the cheapest ticket I can find, and I'll go stand down in the bullpen, down in the bar, stand there and watch from center field. I'll go walk around the stadium. It's things like that that drive this team. And our team has a lot of leadership potential because we have players like JP that have been in the league for a few years. But then we've got a Rosarena who's got playoff experience. We've got Justin Turner who has playoff experience. These guys were brought in not just because of their abilities, but because when we get to October, they're going to help us.
Turner's pretty much going after this, right?
We'll see.
We'll see.
He's 39. So yes, Turner's 39, but Turner brings one thing to the team that a lot of these younger guys need. He has that drive to play and that love of the game. You look at Turner, if he has a bat at bat, his next at bat, it's like a whole new ball game for him. He wipes his memory of that last at bat because he steps up to the plate each time as though the game is on the line. And it's down to him. So, every at bat.
So I love Robles. I love Rosarena. Yep. I love Julio. There's the contract that they talk about that's coming up.
We talking Cal?
Talking about the big bopper or the big dumper.
Big dumper.
Yeah. Talking about Kyle. So I mean, like, are they going to make that investment? Do you think?
I think they have to. Who? We don't have anybody. Yeah, we got Harry Ford down in the minors, but he's not big league ready yet. So who are you gonna have catch? Garver?
I thought that was kind of the
Garver was not actually brought to the team to be a catcher. He was brought as a DH because he had a bat. Why do you think he hasn't played much? And don't get me wrong, I love Garver. I think he's a great player. I think he's got the ability. I think he's just having a down year, which seems to happen with a lot of players.
When they come here.
And it's not always when they come here, though. Some guys, like a Rosarena, he's having a great year. Came here after having an off year. Okay? I think it's everyone's mentality. Everyone hears that T-Mobile is the worst park to hit it. And they all say it's because, oh, look at Kelnick. He left and he's hitting. You got Teo. Look, he left and he's hitting again. They all say it's because of the batter's eye. Yeah, if you stand at home plate and you look at that batter's eye, it is a little crooked. But as a professional, the batter's eye is doing its job. It's giving you a background to see that white ball come flying at you. The angle of it has no effect on that. You might see it a little bit less. I mean, what? Maybe a degree or two less because of the sun bouncing off of that at the angle. But I don't see it enough to say that that's the cause. I think people see that and they hear the stories of, oh, it's just a bad park to hit, and they take that mindset, and that's kind of what screws them over. Because when you set into a negative mindset, it doesn't matter what sport you play, it's going to bring your gameplay down.
So last night was DeGrom's first time out in a while, right?
500 and something games between his last start as a professional pitcher, yeah.
How do you see that matchup against our hit or miss offense?
I think it went exactly as I was predicting because Jake DeGrom is a 2-time Cy Young winner. He's always been a phenomenal pitcher. It doesn't matter who you put him up against. He's not afraid to come at you. He'll throw his nasty sliders. He'll throw his fastballs. I think last night was a test for him to see if he could still do it after having a second Tommy John surgery. That's kind of in everybody's head. Can I still really do this at the Major League level? And I think he did a phenomenal job. In all honesty, I think they pulled him a little soon. They pulled him at 61 pitches, and they were talking 70, 75. So I think they should have let him finish out the inning. But good on him for coming back. I've always been a Jake DeGrom fan. I think he was great. I thought he was great with the Mets. I would love to see him come to Seattle and be part of our starting five, because I have a feeling we're going to be losing one.
What, in a trade?
Actually, yeah, I think we're going to end up losing one of our starting five in a trade this year, and we're probably going to try and bring in another at bat. I don't want to speculate as to who we'll go after, but I can almost guarantee that either not Kirby. They'll keep Kirby. It'll be Castillo or Wu. One of those two is going to be on the trading block.
Think Castillo?
I do think Castillo. As much as I love our starting five. I wish Wu wouldn't have gotten hurt early on in the season and missed so much time. I think had that not happened, I think we would have been a lot better off in the standings now than we are. But I think that because he is still young and he's still improving on his skills, I think that's what puts Wu onto the trade block. Castillo, I think his time in Seattle has run its course.
What about Miller?
Miller ain't going nowhere. Bryce loves it.
He ain't going nowhere.
Bryce loves it here.
Yeah.
And it's same with Kirby. Right. Kirby loves it here in Seattle. Gilbert, I think Gilbert could go, but I don't think he wants to. And I think that's kind of what the team's going to look at is he wants to stay here, and he's improved so much over last year already. Getting rid of one pitch, adding this pitch, and I think those three are our stable three.
So who brings you the biggest prize in a trade?
I think Wu. If we were to trade any of our starting five, Gilbert would probably fetch the biggest prize. Just because he's still young, he's developed himself, and he's pronounced as a pitcher. Batters come up and they know that he's pitching. It kind of sends that shockwave, kind of like in the 90s. You had Randy Johnson, you had Nolan Ryan, and you had Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux. Those four pitchers were on the mound. You knew you were either going to luckily get a hit or you were striking out most of the game, and that's kind of the presence that Logan has on the mound. I think Logan moved up to our number one next year, and we keep Kirby, we keep Wu. I think we'll keep Wu, Miller. I don't know about bringing up Emerson. I like what he's done. I still think he's got a couple quirks to work on. His control issue is a big one with me. If he's on, he's on. But when he's not, he's not. And that's something he needs to work on.
It's funny because we talked about it last week. You know, I said, well, I don't know how Jerry keeps his job, and Jerry got a contract the day before. And so one thing that Jerry does, and I recognize it, is that Jerry seems to always be able to find another replacement in the lineup as far as a pitcher.
He has been phenomenal with our pitching staff, and I truly believe that's why they extended him another year.
It's just a player development portion.
I believe so, because for years we were a farm team for the Yankees.
So if they don't make the playoffs this year, does that mean Hollander lose? Somebody's got to lose their job other than Kirby, right? I mean, I feel like there's something that has to happen drastically. We get it. Service lost their job. They brought Wilson in. They brought Edgar in to help on the management staff. Something has to happen in that front office. Either they find a blockbuster to bring in the kind of bat that they need to bring the right offense in, which all the moves they've made were supposedly to make that cumulative effect of a great bat. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, that's why we went and got a Rosarena and Justin Turner. Yeah. You know, and those were good trades.
Yeah.
And in my opinion as a fan, that was the right move. We did everything we did. We didn't give up any of our prospects. We got two solid hitters. just once we put them into the lineup, it wasn't that we didn't start hitting. Our bullpen fell apart. We were overusing our bullpen so much that guys were just getting tired and throwing errant pitches. And, when you have a pitching staff that your starters are going 6 and 7 innings every single game, keeping you in it, and then your bullpen comes in and, there goes a 2-run shot. There goes our 1-run lead. It brings it down very, very quickly.
Well, it felt like at one point during the season that Miller was turned into our Felix Fernandez that couldn't get any runs for in games that he pitched. And I mean, that was him.
Not just him.
Yeah,
it was him. You had Logan Gilbert was having that problem for a while. Castillo had that problem all year. We just weren't giving him run support, which is why we brought in Rosarena, brought in Turner, because they could provide us with the extra couple of hits. I mean, look at what Turner did. His first game in T-Mobile. Comes in, hits a grand slam. What we brought him here to do, hit the ball and drive in runs.
Timely hitting.
Yeah, and that's what, as long as we continue with timely hitting, we'll be fine. We just need to make sure that we're not overusing our bullpen.
So,
not using Munoz 4, 5, 6 games. Stop using him for 4 or 5 outs to close out a game, because that was killing us too.
So how super was the Star last night?
I was ecstatic.
Julio came through last night, huh?
Julio's been getting hot. I mean, look at his batting average. It's gone up like 12 points since Dan came in. His approach at the plate has been simplified. He's not always swinging at that one wild, slider off the plate, a foot off the plate. He's not swinging at all those ones that are bouncing off the back corner of the plate. He's standing up a little more. He's brought his hands in a little closer, and he's actually hitting the ball more. He's getting multi-hit games now, something we didn't see early in the season. And that's what we've needed him to do. I think whatever Edgar has done with him needs to continue to happen, and he'll be back to that star that we all know he should be.
Do you think it's just the patience and the discipline at the plate that is causing the problem? Or the lack thereof, actually, that's causing the problem?
I think it's a combination of two things. It was the lack of discipline at the plate that he was having, and it's also the I'm the young superstar. I'm paid X million, all this money, and I'm supposed to be the star of the team, and that mental state that was just destroying him. Like, I have to be the one to drive in this run. I have to do this. I have to do that. And he was becoming overzealous at the plate. Now that he's been simplified and Edgar's told him, you are the star, and you don't have to be the guy every single at bat. Now we're seeing him be that star that he was in 2021, 2022. He comes up to the plate, and you're just waiting for the spark to happen. Now he's coming to the plate, and we're waiting. Is he going to hit a home run, or is he just going to hit a double to the gap? That's what we're waiting on now, because that's what he's doing. He's simplified it again. He's gone back to playing in high school ball, having fun. And you can even see it in his play out in the outfield. He's out there, he's making catches, and he's got a big old smile on his face, because he knows he's in the right place again in his frame of mind.
And so he started this conversation with Rose.
Yep.
Do you think he might be the thing that brings character and maybe some of the excitement and enthusiasm to the rest of the team?
Oh yes, definitely. He's definitely one of those I'm the joker of the group kind of guys. He's the center of attention. But I think it's more of a combination of the three of them in the outfield that truly brings the life of the team together. Because, you got Randy with his I'm better than thou pose that he does. And then you got Robles out there creating enthusiasm by stealing bases left and right. You got Julio up at the plate, hitting the bombs, hitting the doubles. You know, it's coming around. If we'd had this outfield all year long, could you imagine the fan base that would be in the stadiums every day?
Oh man, and see, and that's the thing. I think sometimes we look at that and we say we get excited. Seattle's an excitable place, right?
Very.
And what a lot of times when we talk football, we can always say that overreaction Monday to the game, because this past Monday we talked about Seahawks and we sat there and we looked at it. This is the greatest defense that's ever played after one game.
Yeah, for week one, yeah.
For week one, and we even had people like Schlereth coming in talking about they are the best tackling team ever. Okay, great.
For week one, yes.
Right. So what happens with us? And my wife, she jumps on my case. When the Mariners start, they come out of spring training. I say, oh, baby, they're going to be good. They're going to be nice. Every time I look up, I be like, the Mariners, they done went and got this person. Oh, man, you should see the pitcher. Oh, they're hitting this. Oh, you know somebody's hitting 600 in the preseason right now. What is it? Because opening day at Safeco, at T-Mobile, we are there. Everybody's there. It's full. It's packed.
Every year?
So what happens between then and September that changes that excitement? I mean, we know baseball is 162 games. It's a marathon.
It sure is.
So we have to expect some losses.
Yep.
We have to expect the wins. But this year was one of those years that they took off unlike any other year where they're winning from the jump.
Yep. Yeah.
So how do we get to this point that we say, okay, the expectation fills the stadium on opening day. They win so many games to start that now you can buy tickets in the 300 and sit in the 100 level because nobody's in the building. How do we get there?
A lot of negativity in the fan base. If you go on any social media platform, it doesn't matter, Instagram, TikTok, any of them, and you look up somebody talking about the Mariners, 70% of them right now are talking negatively. It doesn't matter. We could have blown out the team. We could be facing the New York Yankees and blow them out 15-1. Somebody's out there talking negative. Oh, well, this should have happened, or that should have happened, or this guy's got to go. Every time there's a loss.
So essentially what you're telling me is it's perception.
It is. Everything's perception.
We're what, 500? We're above 500 right now?
I believe we're above. Let's just look.
Where are we at? Tell us where we at. Let's look at this, because I don't want to be...
We are above 500. 2 games.
2 games above 500. That has always been a good thing for this team. That was enough to pack the stadium.
Yeah.
Did the last playoff run ruin the fact that it has to be playoff
No,
or bust?
I don't think that's what it is. I think it was Sapoto's comments in the offseason. 54% win percentage. People look at that or hear that, oh, we just need to win 54% of our games.
But people don't realize how much that is.
Right. You know, to the people that don't truly pay attention to baseball, having that 105 win season isn't a normal thing. It's not. Oh, there we go. Shrimp and grits. Shrimp and grits, folks.
This
Shrimp and grits.
This that thing. Look. Maybe want to stick my finger in this bowl. Look, man, look. So, hey,
Anyway,
we down here at the Waterland Arcade. LNS is out there. They doing their thing, cooking. We down here in Des Moines. Come on down here to the arcade. I'm gonna get down on this shrimp and grits. But Scott, I just don't think people really understand 54%.
they don't. And look at any other sport. 54%. Pretty much means nothing because they don't play as many games as we do. 54% of the football. That's what? 9 and 8? Yeah. That's playoff possibility.
Maybe.
Depending on your division.
Maybe.
Right?
Well, you remember what the old Seahawks division was?
Right.
7 and 9 got you in.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so when DePoto made that statement of we're out to hit that 54% win mark, a lot of people just didn't realize that 54% win rate in baseball, that's a good season. That is playoff contention season. Doesn't matter what team you are, 54%, you can almost guarantee you're going to make the playoffs. Because in baseball, you got 162 games. Your first 40 and your last 40 don't matter. Because you're going to win 40, you're going to lose 40. Well, that's just Chicago. It's the rest of the games that matter. What you do in those other 82 games, that's where it comes down to baseball. If you win 40 of those and you lose 42, you're not making the playoffs. But if you win 50 of those 80, you're in playoff contention. You're talking possibly even going to the series at that point. And all you've done is won 90 games.
And that's been part of the talk. Yeah. You say the series. We're one of what, 2-3 teams that have never been?
We are the only team that's never been.
We're the only team that's never been.
Yeah.
So then at that point, this town and this city is hungry for not just playoff berths, but playoff wins and winning playoff series to get to a World Series. And I think at this point, just showing up may not be good enough either.
And I have to agree with that. As a fan, just making the playoffs is not enough for our team. Just because we have so little experience in the playoffs and the fact that we've never been in the series. But then again, as a fan, I'm there to support them regardless because I want them to get to the series. And I know that listening to the player interviews after the game that they want us to be there. They want the fan base. They thrive off of our energy. And if we're out here putting out negative energy, what are they going to thrive off of? So, as you put it earlier, we are a very excitable city as a fan base. That's because our fan base, every single team we have, other than the Mariners, has championships. Every one of them. The Storm, the Sonics, the Seahawks. Okay? We are known for championships. We're missing that one team. We just got to get them there.
But the rugby team, the Sea, they got a championship, don't they?
I believe so, yeah.
So it's more than just being a successful winning team. It's about getting to the next the pinnacle of the sport and actually winning and hosting the trophy, and holding the championship and getting that ring.
Yeah, I think the attitude towards the Mariners will change when we are consistently playoff capable and we are consistently making a run at the playoffs every year. I think that's when it'll change. Because right now, we've got 95, 2001, 2022.
Yeah. But
I mean, we almost had 2023. Almost.
On 95. Right? 95.
You might live on 95.
Even
Such a disappointing postseason.
hell in comparison to 95.
Yeah, but do you know why that pales? Because 95 was the first. Everybody remembers the first time. Yeah, I slipped you up.
So what is it that Triple? What is it that's going to make this season special for you?
For me,
Yeah.
to see him finish it out strong.
What does that look like?
Continuing where they're at now. If my team continues to hit the ball, pitching the way they do, if they fall short a game, I'm still satisfied as a true fan. Because they started strong. We had lackluster July, lackluster August, and we fought to come back in September. Our team, we've been known for years that September has always been our month. We always seem to hit a stride in September.
Right.
If we can continue to do that this year, hit our stride, and at least show a fight. If we fall short one game because we lost to Houston during that series, and we fall short, that's fine with me. If we fall short because we play, who knows, and we lose and it's a game that we shouldn't have lost, that's another story.
Scott, this is week 2 of September. There's 16 games left.
Something like that, yeah.
They need to hit that stride soon.
Started last night.
You think so? Started last night?
I think so. I think a lot of the players kind of got in their head that Jake DeGrom was coming back. Because, you hear that. Just, I'll put it a different way. Robbie Ray came to Seattle. What was everybody's impression? Immediately, right off the bat, oh, we're going to the series. We got Cy Young winner right there. Coming off a Cy Young win at that. Midway through the season, what was happening? Everybody's like, I don't know. Will we do it? Robbie Ray started getting lit up. I think when they saw that Jake DeGrom was coming in, knowing that he is a 2-time Cy Young winner, he hasn't pitched in the majors in 500-plus games, they were overconfident. Because if you watch, they were swinging at some stuff they should not have been swinging at. They weren't expecting that slider to break that much.
He was still getting it up there to 99.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the velo is still there.
Oh, yeah. He's prime Jake DeGrom.
Well, when they say with Tommy John, it's that they put the rubber band in there. That arm whips itself a little bit faster than what it used to.
Yeah, they say that it whips it a little bit faster, but they say it also breaks a lot quicker.
But that's why we're talking about the second rubber band. I remember being a kid, and I'm about to date myself. We used to play with G.I. Joe action figures, and you can
with
take that
Kung
guy
Fu grip.
Yeah, with the Kung Fu grip, and you can take him, swing and punch. That's what the Tommy John surgery usually looks like, and it's amazing that we're talking about Tommy John surgery in that way. That is that effective.
Yeah, technology has definitely come so far in the last 15 years when it comes to all sports injuries. You're looking at ACL surgeries. You're looking at MCL surgeries. You're looking at torn rotator cuffs. Tommy John. You got, what's the one tendon running backs like to tear?
What, the hamstring or what we talking? ACL, MCL,
and
ICL, interior.
You got all these injuries.
The PCL.
The guys are out there running, and they're getting these surgeries, and they're coming back 6-8 months later like they never left.
So let's put it this way. What are we hoping for at this moment that's going to finish this thing off for this season?
We're hoping, as a Mariner fan, that the team builds more unity. They've got it. They need to build upon it. and become more of the family. Stop trying to take the pressure on themselves and trusting your teammates. If that happens, we're going to go on a run. That culture thing you were talking about.
Culture is everything, man.
It
Culture
is.
is everything.
And if they build that, if they continue to build the culture they have now, or even the culture that we started off with at the beginning of the year, if we started off with a real strong culture, something happened, whether it be in the locker room, upper management, or in the ownership box, something happened. That culture disappeared.
Right.
Now that culture is coming back. We need to find the culture that we are and sustain it. That's how you get to a championship.
Well, Scott, I'm going to put myself away from here. These shrimp and grits is calling me. I've been trying to hit around the edges, around the corners. I need to get to this.
I'm right there with you.
Mr. Bogan, what you got? Yes, sir.
All right, so like I said, we're down here at the Waterland Arcade, Northwest Sports Talk 206. We are actually wrapping up the episode on today, 2 hours and came and went. So join us next Saturday, same place, same time at the Waterland Arcade. Check us out, $15. You get. He's enjoying the shrimp and grits. We're coming on here, shrimp and grits. We got
shrimp and grits is fire.
rib tip cups. Man, pulled pork, man, just come on down. Like I said, $15 gets you, man, limited games here. A lot of stuff going down here at the Waterland Arcade. Like I said, they got karaoke night. You can rent out this whole this whole avenue right here and have a blast. So, like I said, I look forward to seeing you guys next week as we brought more Northwest Sports next week at 12:30. Come on down. Like I said, we're going to be serving food here for the next few hours. So if you're in the area, come on, get you something to eat. Until next time, Lavelle, Scott, and Andre, we'll see you next week, and we look forward to it. Be blessed.